kit that helps cops find the rapist. But as Deborah Alfarone reports, hundreds of thousands of those kits sit untested all across the country, letting rapists go free.
First, having what's called a sexual assault forensic evidence kit or rape kit done can be frightening and re-traumatizing for a rape victim. Their body is essentially a crime scene. Testing that kit for DNA can be a foolproof way to lock up these rapists. So why wouldn't we do everything we can to get these criminals off the street? As you're about to hear, one victim got angry, and after this story, you might be angry too.
I thought that I was going to die.
1993, New York City. College student Natasha Alexenko was 20 and had just reached her front door.
I was raped at gunpoint and robbed and sodomized by an unknown assailant, and that completely changed my life.
Shattered, Natasha went to police, then waited unshowered to undergo an invasive, hours-long examination of her entire body so a nurse could collect DNA evidence for what's commonly called a rape kit.
It took about 4 hours to complete, but I knew it was so necessary to aid law enforcement in any way I could, and certainly to prevent this man from hurting other people.
9 years passed, her rapist still not caught. Then she found out why. The one thing that could help catch him was sitting on a shelf.
It almost felt like a re-victimization, finding out that the kit wasn't tested.
But it wasn't just hers. Right now, it's estimated that 400,000 rape kits across the country are sitting on shelves untested. The primary reason? Cost.
So a rape kit costs between $500 and $1,500 to process. When I think about my kit not being tested, I think what that cost taxpayers, what that cost law enforcement while we did test the kit. I'm sure that it cost a lot more than $1,500.
That's because while Natasha's kit just sat, her rapist was out on a 9-year, one-man crime spree.
And so it's not really a story of sadness. It's a story of justice.
You're looking at Natasha's justice. 100 backlogged rape kits unearthed. Natasha started a non-profit to raise money and awareness with the hopes of getting every kit in the country tested. The first batch from Alameda County, California. It's a partnership with DA Nancy O'Malley.
In my county, which has 1.6 million people, we have identified about 2,000 kits that were sitting in the property room of police departments. Never even got to the crime lab.
Natasha raised enough money to have 100 of those tested right here at Bodie Labs in Lorton, Virginia. The same lab where Natasha's was tested all those years ago.
Unless you're identical twins, then every individual has their own unique DNA profile.
Sure, it's just 100 kits. There are hundreds of thousands to go. But listen to how just one break can dole out justice exponentially.
I will tell you, this is a very personal issue for me, though. My rape kit sat on the shelf for years, and it was ultimately destroyed.
At 18 years old, Anne Arundel County Executive Laura Newman was raped at gunpoint in her bedroom by an intruder. The crime went unsolved for 19 years. Then Newman insisted police reopen the case. 3 days later, fingerprints led them to her rapist. Newman learned if her rape kit had been tested right away, countless women could have been saved from heartache.
And they got a match on 12 more cases. Those cases would have never been solved had I not pursued getting my case reopened after 19 years.
That's a dozen more women who are free from wondering if their rapist could strike again. It's a feeling Natasha says you can't put a price on.
And it was a day I'll never forget. And I'll never forget how I felt. I think I felt safe for the first time.
So how does our area figure into that estimated 400,000 strong backlog? Well, 85 remain untested in D.C. In Virginia, 117 kits wait for testing. And in Maryland, none of the agencies we called reported a backlog. However, Baltimore has yet to get back to us. Tomorrow night at 7, we're going to take a look at how D.C. is making strides in serving justice to rape victims. Deborah Alfarone, WUSA 9.
And President Obama recently asked for $35 million in his 2015 budget to end that backlog. Congress still needs to approve the spending. One way you can get involved is to go to WUSA9.com. There you're going to find a link to Natasha's Justice Project. You can find mission, possibly make a donation. Some of those proceeds go toward getting rape kits tested.
Well, the United States